It was just fuckery, man. I can't explain. The only thing I can say is that amount of hurt you never wish upon anyone. That's when I really truly came into money. Not I made money, it was I made a decision that this fucking sucks. I ain't got none. Money didn't pick a race. And I always just think, like, what's the difference between me and them? And pen and paper is so important. I make my team do it all the time.
Why did you pick trading to be your career choice at that time?
I have more of the power to say fuck you to whoever. I don't have to work with anyone. I don't have to do anything. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Bro, I was 21. I was like, I've never seen that many zeros. And I just remembered asking mum where dad is. And then she said away. And then away turned into a long time. And then you see the deterioration of your mum's happiness. You know, I was aiming for $1 million this year. The number one rule I always say in any interview, if you want to make money, is you have to respect a penny. And I didn't respect a penny. If you can respect money, that's when you'll make money.
Altogether in trading, how much would you say you've made so far?
Yeah, I actually did the math. It's just
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the CEOCAST. We got another special guest today, none other than Dan Cheung. How you doing, mate?
What's going on, bro? You good?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yo, you're wearing it already.
I told you, bro. We got to wear it in the podcast. Yeah. Dan just gifted me this before we started the podcast. So firstly, you got to thank you for that.
That's it.
But you told me not to start off this podcast by saying that you're a trader, because you say you're so much more than that, right? So explain to me and the audience right now, what is it that you do?
Oh, bro, I get asked this question all the time, and I feel like, just to kind of go on that, I don't like being introduced as a trader anymore. I feel like the industry's kind of like ruined it. And the trading made me, but ultimately it doesn't really constitute of what I do right now. Mm-hmm. So all the things I do, I don't even know if I can remember every single thing, but from trading, it came into property. Then property built into many subcategories. So we buy, we refurb, we refinance. Then we do rentals. And then after we do management rentals, we did SAs for a little bit. So like service accommodation, yeah, like Airbnb and all that shit. And then from there, we went on to develop, actually refurbs, like bigger, like fit outs. So like, for example, house developments. Mm-hmm. If you're doing extensions, if you're doing a whole fit out for your whole house or whatever it may be. Then from there, now looking into, mate, God is good, man. Alhamdulillah for everything, because now we're looking at a plot of land.
I'll ask you a question.
Yeah, you can ask that. And on that plot of land, ultimately we may be able to build like 50 to 100 houses from there. So then that's just the property side. Then we've got a barbers and coffee, which we're now launching as well, which we're going to try and franchise and build off of. We've got an import and export business that my uncle manages, and also there's a security aspect on that as well that comes with it. So there's whatever he deals with. Then we've got trading, but on the trading side as well, that kind of arms into different things. So by the time this pod releases, we'll have a prop firm. We'll have a broker integrated with that as well. I trade on my personal account and prop firms and private equity. Then we want to anyway, and I really have always wanted to develop into like hedge fund and then like institutional. Ultimately it's the same shit. Like, it's just, if you trade and they have a skill, you can trade with someone's money, your money, and how someone's money comes to you, it's just a different way. Like, you have private investors, hedge funds, institutional, and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's it. And then the most important one is being a father and a husband. Those two are the most important out of all of that.
Would you say that's a full-time job in itself?
Yeah, bro, trust me. If you got kids, no, bro. Having two kids is like, going away is impossible.
How old are your kids?
2 and 9 months.
Okay, so these are literally your early dad stages, pretty much.
Bro, it's the best feeling ever, because my wife blessed me to be the dad I never had, and that's like the most important thing in my life at the moment. So yeah.
What's it like for you to, because before you were still an entrepreneur before your kids came around, and now your kids are here, 2 years old and 9 months old. Do you feel like there's a different kind of pressure and a different kind of fire in the belly to make sure you succeed for your kids? 100%,
because you're not a man until you've had kids. I'll wholeheartedly say that, and I truly believe that, because you're not protecting and providing like 4 kids for someone else, and these are you brought them into the world. That's your responsibility. Do you know what I mean? So you're not really truly a man until you have kids, because having that feeling is just, it's indescribable. And it's not about the burning desire to say like, I have to work more, I have to be more. It's more the idea of, actually how I like to see it is, there is 2 people you cannot lie to in this world. It's God and your children. You can lie to your parent, you can lie to everyone, but your children will always find out sooner or later, especially when you're gone, because the truth always reveals itself. And also they watch your every move. Like, actions are louder than words. And God, obviously, you can never lie. Like, you don't even have to talk about that. Or you can't lie to God. Like, God sees everything, he knows everything. So when you do that and you have that in your mind, and you can truly understand that the moves and everything you do and everything you comprehend and understand, it changes. Because it's like, bro, it's simple. Like, a lot of people don't truly chase after their dreams because it doesn't hurt them enough. But when it's your kids are on the line, everything changes. But yeah, like, kids probably change your life.
Let's take a quick 30-second break to tell you about today's sponsor, me. Come closer.
I'm my own sponsor. You see, I've been working on something big for the past few months and it is finally here. The CEO Hub, a brand new place where we can learn, grow and connect together. And so the way I'm doing that is I'm hosting weekly calls with top leading industry experts and entrepreneurs that you've seen here on the channel before, directly on the CEO Hub, a chance for you to ask anything you like and get the blueprint to level up. The type of entrepreneurs that have been in your shoes and overcome the problems you're facing. Plus, we're not just focusing on business. I don't know if you could tell, but I've been going gym recently a bit, you know? And so one of our big focuses is also health and fitness too, because that's definitely a part that plays into entrepreneurship. I want to make sure that you become the best version of yourself inside and outside your business. This is the place for you to network, get inspired, and surround yourself with high-level thinkers. It's the community I wish I had throughout my journey, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to create it myself, and now I've created it for you. Look, I love helping people, and because I truly want to help you guys and to celebrate the launch, it's currently 50% off for the first 100 people that join. So how exactly do you join the CEO Hub? Just go to school.com/the CEO Hub or scan the QR code on the screen right now and it will take you directly there. So what are you waiting for? Join us now and I look forward to seeing you there.
It's interesting, bro, because I've spoken to traders before and they're still in, besides people like Umar Ashraf, they're still in almost like the trading stages and building their trading journeys. And they always say the common thing is of, you know, trade is the way to build the wealth and then diversify out their portfolio. Now it's kind of interesting speaking to you because though you still may be trading, it seems like you're in that stage now of diversifying your wealth and all that sort of stuff. But the question I've got for you is, we were speaking about this off camera as well, and you were saying, you know, we've got a barbershop here. Can we speak about what you do?
You can do whatever, bro. I'm an open book. You can ask me whatever the fuck you want. If I don't like it, I'll just be like, nah, I ain't saying.
So you were speaking about, you know, barbershop. You were speaking about other things you do, and there's always someone else involved as well.
On those things,
So why is it you've decided you can have someone else involved as opposed to you saying, oh, you know what, I want to get into property, let me just do it myself, or I want to open a restaurant, let me just do it myself. I want to open this, do it myself. Why is it that you've looked for partners in that?
So there's quite a few things that all tally into this, and I want to slowly try and break them down if I can remember on all of them. First and foremost is you can only do so much by yourself. Bro, I'm only one man, and there's only so much I can accumulate, and I've hit that limit. Like, I know that I have a saying is you versus you, me versus me. And ultimately that is it really truly is everything I stand for. And I think that a lot of people can relate to it because social media is like, it makes you feel insignificant, right? You're like, you could be 33 and you see an 18-year-old like smashing it, doing this and that, but you don't know what they're doing. And is it real? I'm not even here to say if it's real or not. It just makes you feel like XYZ, but also he could have had some help. He could have hustled from 12, bro. It could be
inheritance money.
It could be inheritance. It could be any pro or con, whatever the f you want to make up that story. It could be anything. He could be self-made. He got lucky, lottery, don't know, don't give a fuck. But the point is that doesn't help you at all. Do you know what I mean? So ultimately, it doesn't benefit you, it doesn't suit you. So that's why you should always focus on yourself, because you're the person in charge of your life. But then there's also with that, how it goes into how you can only manage so much by yourself is you're one person, you're one mind, and no matter how fortitude and how strong you are, there's only 24 hours in a day. There's only so much you can do. To have that balance and that equilibrium, you need to have help. And in that help is people. And then this goes into the second bit, which is partners, as you said, is working with people. The number one thing is trust and loyalty, especially in Chinese. Like, we have this thing, it's like my brother behind cameras, him and Jay, like, they are everything to me. Like,
Jay being your other brother.
Yeah, so Car and Jay. And these three have been through with me through all the tough times. They've been through with me everything. And in our culture, there's two things: is gun ge gao and mo pa si day. And gun ge gao basically means like, don't worry about. So like, I got you a gift, right? But I didn't get you a gift so you can give me a gift. Like, it's not a war like that. It's because I genuinely cared. I genuinely appreciate the podcast and I appreciate the opportunity and just get to network. And it's like, what you're doing is great. So therefore it's just karma in its own way. Maybe you've helped someone. So therefore I just wanted to give it, I don't know, whatever you want to see that, right? But the point is, I didn't give you something in return. I give it because it's from my heart.
Yeah.
And if you have that, the relationship is really strong. So therefore, with that trust and loyalty, you got to be able to give to someone so they can take on and just have that. And then if you do that in return, they have trust and loyalty on you as well. So that's most important, because then if I'm gone, because I'm not going to be here forever. If I'm gone, which now goes into the third thing of why I built everything actually was, and I haven't actually spoke about it, which is quite cool because I guess this is more like the entrepreneurial side of things, is when I was in hospital, I'm like the sole breadwinner. I'm the guy that makes all the money. But if I go, bruv, I don't know what my family's going to do. If it hasn't been built to where it is now, like, I don't know where my family is going to get their money from. How are they going to sustain? They can't trade. Do you know what I mean? Like, as much as I want to teach my boy to trade, he's only 2. Do you know what I mean, bro? Like, you can't just come on and be like, So the point is,
short everything.
Yeah, he's like, short, sell this shit. Oh shit, I just lost all my money. But the point is if I'm gone, I know that my brothers will take care of my family and my mum. I know that my business partners will take care of the business and still continue to give rightfully what is mine to my kids and whatever it is. And I won't even question it. And that is kind of, which gets into, I guess, into like a maybe even deeper conversation, kind of like actually maybe even the purpose of life, maybe the fulfillment, and maybe living up to the potential of what God created me for. I don't know. But it gets a bit deep like that, but yeah.
Purpose of life. What is purpose of life?
I don't know. I can't fucking clue, mate. It's different for everyone. But I think ultimately it's the journey. I think that's really, truly, I think everyone's watching. Actually, I think what we could start with is the idea of understanding that we all have our own problems. I've recently talking about this as well. And it's like, you got your demons, right? Like, bro, I met you today. It's good vibes. It's jokes. It's a good thing. But on a serious note as well, I'm sure you've got your own fucking problems. And it could be massive. It could be little. But throughout your years of life, you've obviously had trials and tribulations. And ultimately, I think that that's the path of everyone must go through. And if you can't battle and overcome them, then you don't really, truly live up to the potential of your life. That's all I can really say about that, of what I understand right now and where I am now. And yet again, as I develop, things will change and things like that. But I think God in itself as well, and becoming way more religious, has changed my perspective on life, like fully in the past 2 years as well.
We've spoken a lot about spirituality and almost going deep into life, and I think you've given a very good statement in the beginning of this podcast as to why people should listen to you, just from the way you've been speaking and what you've been speaking about.
Appreciate that.
So before we get into, you know, how you got into everything, because you were once a man who had nothing, right?
Yeah.
You know, pretty much broke, and now you're here. Yeah. But before we get into your whole story, I have to ask you, bro. Yeah. What is your religion? Because you literally just said alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, man. I don't really have one. Like, I've really like the Quran. I really like Islam. I really like, well, Christianity. I just really like both of them, essentially. Now, I never really grew up with religion. I never really had, or I wouldn't say I didn't believe in it. I believe there was a higher being to some degree, maybe even like reincarnation. I wouldn't say no, because brother, you don't know. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, there's so many things in life, like you can't make it up. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, this happened, and then you got this. It's like, even a podcast, let's just say, I know it's simple, like we linked up, I did spoken and I got a podcast, but for all of the things and all the stars to align for me to come on, it's just unexplainable. Like, what if you didn't do the podcast? What if I didn't trade? What if I didn't become the man I said I would? What if I didn't, like, would we have this interaction? Like, don't you think it's crazy? Because this is one like route, but if you think about all, you know, like those paths, like those Instagram memes where it's like you choose the path. Okay, but imagine if you got like hundreds of them, we aligned and hit this one. Do you know what I mean? That's crazy. So I kind of always believed that, essentially. Then when it came to Christianity, my auntie was a very strong Christian. She always pushed it on me. I do always believe that God was real, because I had like one exception where I just really prayed, and just like, it just really, you know, that just goosebump feeling when you're praying. It was something else. Then 2 years ago, I watched a podcast with Vic Blends. You know the guy cuts it. Bruv, you know, with NLE Chopper, the rapper. Yeah. Have you seen that podcast?
No.
Fam, that was like, for me, there's London coming out of me. Like, that changed my fucking life. In a sense of religion, because it felt like God spoke to me. Like, shit, like, especially in this day and age, because like, I'm assuming a lot of young men would watch this, or people aspiring, or maybe even inspired, or whatever it is, but it's mad how like we always chasing certain things, like especially men, like we chase respect to some degree, we chase you know, significance. Like Tony Robbins says, you got love, connection, significance, certainty, uncertainty. These are the 4 pillars of life. You try to fill these boxes. Most men chase significance, ultimately, like the respect, the ego. Why do you want that car? Status, essentially, right? Money, what does that bring? Well, we make money not actually just to get bitches. Not everyone wants that. To be fair, to provide for a family, that's actually a goal too. That's significance, because I'm the head of the house. I'm all of these things.
Well, not just that, because I reckon even if someone was living alone, it's almost like, what can I achieve by myself? What can I do? What's the levels I can take it to?
Exactly. And then it's like that constant thrive as a man to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. But then you got to question yourself, is like, who's creating this path? Like, there's a little bit more further questions to it, but you don't have to go that deep, because you can go like too much of I always say too much of anything is bad for you. Like, bro, too much gym, too much whatever. It doesn't matter, too much podcast, too much whatever, like too much of anything. So ultimately, I watched that, and he said a few things, and bro, I just cried in that podcast, because it really hit me. It's like, sometimes God will give you everything you want and then take it away just to show you what it is with and what it was without. And that's crazy, because now I live a life abundantly, and I live the life I literally prayed for. I live the life that literally I can't even explain it. Like, I literally would cry for or pray for and envision, and I live that now. If he takes it away, then that's fine, because I know that I could get it back, and that was his path and that was his message. But it's things like that, like they were just beating facts, bro, like straight up facts, and it just hit me one thing after another. So then that kind of got me into God, and then I had quite a few Muslim friends and things like that. And then obviously we learned a bit more about Islam, and then went to a mosque, prayed, and
did
things
you?
like that. Yeah, bro, it was amazing, because it's that journey, and I'm open to it all. Now, with that religion, one of the biggest reasons, because I get asked, like, are you Muslim? Because I ask, alhamdulillah, mashallah, and inshallah, right, and bismillah. But the thing is because being Chinese as well, there are a lot of words that you cannot explain one thing. Like alhamdulillah, everything. Like the power of that word, if from my understanding and reading it and seeing how it's been used in different contexts, etc., and things like that, the feeling to that word, because ultimately words are just fucking words, right? Like fuck, what does that mean? You could be like, it could be sexual, it could be funny, it could be offensive, it could be everything, right? Alhamdulillah, like that's powerful. Like just if you really truly look into what that means and how it is, that's powerful too. And even I remember listening to a surah, right? And he was saying, like, the more you say alhamdulillah and the more you do it, it's like, and especially if you know the feeling, you truly feel it, isn't God going to give you more and do more? And aren't you going to be more grateful for it? And isn't that more powerful? Whereas I used to say that just to myself. And then I'm now like, well, fuck it. Like, me versus me. Like, who is anyone to judge? And it's me, my relationship with God, right? So that's why I say those words. I don't really have a religion. I just think that really and truly there's a God. We pray to him. He serves us. Like, I serve him, and he has the path and his guidance, and I have faith in him, and I'm unwavering faith in him, and I know that whatever he plans for me is going to be the life that I live moving forward.
What's the core belief in Chinese culture?
I don't know.
Like
I think it's mainly Buddhism, Buddhism, Stoicism. There are a lot of Christians in Hong Kong, because obviously it was like colonized by Britain, so mainly that. But I think most of the time they're just peaceful, bro. just peacemakers. Just peacemakers, like Shaolin monks or some shit. I don't know. I don't really know.
Oh, fair, bro. Well, let's go into it, Dan. Yeah. Who were you when you were a kid, and what was your upbringing like?
What age?
Let's start from 5, because I think 5 years old we start to have an understanding at a young age for life. We start going to school and we start meeting people.
Yeah, this is a good podcast, because I guess these kind of questions don't really come up when I do like trading ones. But I think 5 was, my dad left just around 5. And it sounds weird, but the only image I have of him is his socks. Like, it sounds weird.
I don't mean to laugh.
No, it's cool. But it is a real random thing, because I remember, bro, he's Chinese, man. He's not even white. Like, why is he sleeping with socks on? Thinking back on it, but like, that was the only image I have. Like, at the bed, I remember going into my mum and dad's room and just feet, and there was socks on, and that was all the image I can kind of really remember. And then I just remembered asking mum where dad is, and then she said away, and then away turned into a long time, and then you see the deterioration of your mum's happiness and her struggling and doing things and all of that kind of stuff. So that's really from 5.
What age did you deep that, okay, he's not coming back?
I ain't got a clue, man. That's a great question. I ain't got a clue. I think that it just is what it is, and we kind of just live life, and I just stop asking questions, because it's like, you can ask the same question as like what'd you eat today? What'd you eat today? What'd you eat today? Sooner or later, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck what he eats today. It's like, is he coming back? I don't know. Like, there's other things in life that happen. So I kind of just didn't really deep that. But I would say, transcribed, I did deep how much that fucked me when I was probably around 15. Because then I realised how much anger issues I had, all the fights I used to get into and all this stuff. And as I'm older now and very in tune with it, I see how a lot of single mum, like kids with single parents, are like truly fucked. Like, but we're all fucked, right? We're all healing in our own way. And but yeah, that's when I really tried to see that, and then I tried to fix that. But there's only so much you can fix, right?
So what did you do to fix it?
I think that the first step was understanding myself. So like, where does the anger stem from? Like, really and truly, it actually gets pretty deep, because Tony Robbins, if you're familiar with him, we kind of like jump a big thing, but the discovery didn't just happen. It took like maybe, I don't know, like 15 to be honest, maybe even 27, 28, and then only 30, like 32. So last year, to really, really like deep what it is, and it will go from.
Oh, so that's a long time then.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, because it's still a healing process. So it's each milestone, right? So like I think the first step is like anger and frustration, and it's what is it? Well, I think that the cause of that and why I'm like that is because there's no father figure. What do you do with your emotions? What do you do with your testosterone? Like, bro, if you're angry and frustrated, like, what do you need to take it out on? I'm not taking any sports, so I'm taking it out on some guy's face, right? So it's just is what it is. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do my tie. I don't know how, and it's embarrassing to ask neighbor how to do a tie and don't know how to shave, and all of these little things that accumulate, and then they trigger you. But that's what life is about as well. It's not about big things. It's about the small accumulation of things that create to who you are. So therefore, that's what I started to understand maybe around the 20 mark. Then around, I'd say 25 mark is when I really started to self-develop and grow. And that's when, within 22, 25, I was really trying to push myself to become better and do better anyway. And we had a few trials and tribulations within those. And the main one was, I think that I like the biggest pinnacle that changed me completely is, my brother will know, is we had my first breakup, which is always fucking the hardest one. And then it's actually crazy thinking back on it now.
How long was you with her for?
Like 3.5, maybe 4 years. And that was her first love, so it's pretty deep. And what's crazy is when I look back on that and how painful and all the actions I did on that is what I realized at 32 at Tony Robbins' event, which is the trauma that coincides with it. And ultimately, just to add that in, is I'm not good enough. That's the true thing, is what, I was aggressive, I was just all of these things. You think like you have to prove something, that small man syndrome, and there's all of this stuff, right? And that's, again, it's because there's no role model as such to speak. There is no vent. There is no way to really truly express yourself, and you don't even understand yourself, and you have all of these problems of yourself plus the problems of your family. So not only did we have that breakup, my uncle passed away, we had no money, and then my mum had to go to Hong Kong for that funeral, so I had to spend Christmas by myself, broke, no girlfriend, no mum, nothing, by myself. Say that like I had my brother.
I was just gonna say about brother,
yeah, and that's what made us all so close, because we all have each other. And he has his own trials and tribulations, the same with our other brother, but I went to his for Christmas. I mean, I'm super grateful to able to go to them, because if it weren't for them, I don't know what route I would have been able to take. Probably definitely a much darker route, especially.
Do you and your brothers not live together?
No. So I call them my brothers, so they're not blood brothers. So it's just me and single mum, and then they're two different families as well. But they're like family friends, and they grew up. And
close family, so you're all pretty much like brothers. Yeah,
they grew up together from like 0, and then I knew them from young, but it was only 16 when we started kicking it, and then from 16 and now forever, like absolute forever. Like it's one of those things as brotherhoods, right? Like they're closer to you than true blood family. Do you know what I mean? Which is an interesting thing. But coming back onto that shaped me as a man, because all of the anger, depressions and tears, it was just fuckery, man. Like it was just pure, like I can't explain. The only thing I can say is that amount of hurt you never wish upon anyone, because it's like, it's not even pain in the sense of loss, it's pain in the sense of like hollowness, I think is the best way to do it. Like all it was just black and like tears is the best way to describe it. So from that I turned to the gym.
Bro, as everyone does.
Bro, that's what they say, that bodybuilders are made from breakups and heartbreaks. And that's it. I went into like bodybuilding, like fitness modeling and stuff like that. And then from that shaped me as a man. And that, to be honest, yet again, looking back on it, that shaped me as a role model, because the gym teaches you to become a man. You can do one more. You're actually stronger than you think you are. You actually can create who you want to become. You want bigger arms? Actually, if you work for it, Dan, you can actually do it. The things you want to achieve, you can actually manifest. Well, actually, if you push above and beyond, you're actually stronger than you think you are. And not only that, you have power, but you must use that power in the right and the good. So the gym taught me so much. And I know it's so like, maybe even cliche, but I remember seeing this thing. It was so stupid thinking back on it, but it still shaped me. It was like, a girl may come and go, but 50-pound dumbbells are going to always be a 50-pound dumbbell. It's one of those memes, but truly that hit me. I was like, bro, that's true. Do you know what I mean? So I can always, even to this day, I can always come to the gym. So that really shaped me to become a young man rather than like a man.
I was just going to say, this is also a curveball as well, because with your dad leaving, I was under the assumption that you had brothers around you, but you just said right there, it was just yourself and your mum and no other siblings.
No.
So it's not like you had any other blood relative siblings who you grew up with to share this experience with. So I suppose that could make it even more traumatic. If you had people around you, as in your siblings,
you could
share who were going through the same thing, you could share that. And maybe you wouldn't have that anger building up inside you along the way. But I mean, if you're at home all the time. There's no one really to talk about it on a level. You know, obviously you could talk about it with your mother, but in terms of siblings, you could talk a lot more to them. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know that, to be fair.
And then they go through the same thing as well, right?
Exactly.
So it's this shit. It's like the pain is halved to some degree because you're both
experiencing the same thing. Yeah, you're navigating yourself through life together.
I think that the hardest pain of that is watching your mum struggle, because my mum's health was like sick quite a few times during the upbringing as well. So seeing her in hospital is like the worst fucking thing ever. And even to now, like, it's still the worst thing ever. And but the thing is, it's part of life. And yet again, it's the same thing. Like right now, whatever comes my way it is God's plan. And that's another thing I want to touch on with God again. And it's important because, listen, you don't have to be like a Bible basher. Like, I don't give a fuck if you Islam, Christian. I don't give a shit as long as you have God. And the reason I say you have God is not because I want to like sell or push it. Is to actually, it will help you. Because if you think about it, someone like me, especially right now, I have to shoulder my mum, my friends, my family, my businesses, all of the people that work for me and all of this stuff. But then who's got me? Right. And it's like we had a conversation. Let's say, like, even Tate, for example, right, with all the heat that he has and everything like that, bro. I don't know the guy, but I do know that he's a human. And who shoulders him? Bro, I don't want the problems he got.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't live the life that he's. But cool, fair play, good for you, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? But at the same time, who's got his back? Yes, he's got his brother, but there's only so much his brother can do too. And then it's the same thing as like men. It's like, what we can do? Sit here and fucking cry about, oh, life is tough, like that. But that's not gonna help. But if you have a conversation and you know God's got your back, it's like that. You know that Greek God that's like shouldering the world.
Yeah,
he's got you.
He's got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and when he's got you, you become a little bit more indestructible. It's like when you fight as well. I don't know if you've had a lot of experience fighting or anything. Not like much. That. So when you fight, like, and you get hit, there's a fight or flight type of reaction.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And ultimately, when you know you're fighting for God and fighting for things, you become so much stronger than fighting for myself.
Yeah, of course. We've seen it in, there's been films.
In MMAs and things
MMA,
like that.
There's been all these sort of things, especially if you see in MMA, you see someone like Khabib.
Exactly.
Who fights for God, and he fights by God's name. Indestructible.
Because he will die for God.
Exactly.
But you say you would die for yourself, but you won't.
Yeah.
It's a bit different. It's different because you can give up.
See, in Islam, when we fight for God and we fight in God's name, we don't mind dying because we know we're martyrs, right? And in Islam, if you're a martyr, you're going straight to heaven. There's no question about it. So in those scenarios there, when we know it's fight, and if you die under God's name, you'll be going to heaven. That's why I think there's a lot of this, going back to Khabib, him being a Muslim, Islam is his religion. He don't mind if he dies in the ring or in the cage, shall I say, because he knows there's only one way out of this.
And I think that it's not even just that. It's like it's like one of those things. It's like your mum. Like, you would die for your mum, and why? It's because of all your mum's done for you. But it's the same thing as God. Like, God has done so much immeasurable stuff for you. If you're harming His name, like, bro, who are you, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you mad.
You mad. Like, we'll be going at it like full on. Like, bro, take me in it. Like, I lose an arm, I'll still come at you and see what I want. So that's a bit different. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of like the whole story of that. And then I was broke, and then just kind of made it happen. Good podcast.
That's it. We're finished.
Done. That's right.
What was your first ever experience with money then?
Oh, great question. Events, bro. I ran events. I ran Asian events in it. So we used to do Mayfair, like, clubbing nights and stuff like that. So I think
what age is this?
22. So to be honest, I worked from 16. Okay. I worked at Marks and Spencer. I've been back and forth 8 times and things like that, making money, and then worked in warehouse. I'll do anything. That's why I'm a big believer. Like, at the moment, when people say that, bro, you're just lazy as fuck. Because right now, if you strip me of everything, I'll clean toilets if I have to. Like, you just don't have that. You just don't give a fuck. That's the difference. Like, people these days are just,
they don't have it.
Yeah, bro, it's not hard. Like, do you sleep? Yes, well, that's the fucking problem. Like, if you're broke, you don't have the luxury to sleep. Just fucking work. Like, I literally had 4 jobs, doing everything I could, because when you're in such a bad position, rather than, you don't have time, you either sit there and feel bad for yourself. I don't want to say you don't have time, because for me it wasn't like that, and there are other people that sit and dwell on it, but you have 2 choices: sit and dwell on your situation, oh my god, it sucks, or you can spend time trying to figure a way out. Otherwise it's always going to stay like that. So with money, I really would say the main changing point, as opposed to me making money, was I had none, and then I said enough is enough. And I always say people only really change in like 3 states: when it hurts enough, like, bruv, this is fucking, or you've had enough, like, this is fucking, I'm sick of this fucking life, or you're excited and motivated. But the excited and motivated doesn't really last very long.
Yeah,
like, not many people,
because eventually it dies out.
It dies out. Yeah. But if you have, it hurts and you're sick of it, bruv, that's true change is going to happen.
Yeah, that's when it's like, we're going back to, you know, the example of the breakup. You know, you may be in a position as soon as you come out of the breakup thinking, oh, you know, shit, man, this has happened, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then eventually you think, no, fuck this, I can't be feeling like this anymore. Let me get to the gym.
Yeah.
And that's when you start coming out of that feeling.
Yeah.
So you're right in that sense,
It's that true pain, because it's like that pain is always there, and the only outlet you have is that gym, essentially, there and then.
Literally.
And that was what it was. Where I was already in overdrive. I had no money, and I had like £50 to last me 2 months before the next student loan came in. And I was like, bro, this makes no sense. My mum's away again, and life is tough. I work 3 jobs, and she's been let go in the past. And just watching her life, it's just, you learn from your parents, right? Like, she did the best she could, but her mum did the best she could as well. And I'm doing the best I can, and my son will do the best he can. It's just a cycle. That's what it is, right? And I just decided to break that cycle from a financial point of view. And that's when I really, truly came into money. I think that was the best way to put it, because it's not I made money. It was I made a decision that this fucking sucks. I ain't got none. And what's the difference between, you know, Swiss Cottage? Yeah, that's like full of like peng houses and
yeah, okay, yeah,
like all the £1 million, like just off of Regent's Park, right? And I always used to think, I was like, bro, there's a Chinese brethren, there's a white guy, there's a black guy, like the diverse.
There's a lot of Chinese brethren.
Yeah, exactly. But they're all rich.
Yeah.
Right? But the point is, money didn't pick a race.
Mm-hmm.
And I always just think, like, what's the difference between me and them? So that, coupled with that's it, that is enough, is when I truly started to like really focus and try and make some money and things like that. Then I think a really good question is when I came into money was, I had the events company with my boys, and we're doing cash in there. And then I had a part-time job.
I love the we were doing cash in there.
Yeah,
cash in hand.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that, man.
HMRC.
Yo,
get in.
It wasn't me, man. I gave it away. It wasn't my job. But yeah, it was a pretty good business. And then we actually even did an event up to like 2,000 people. And then after that, like, it was just a long day going out nights with literally small man syndrome, getting in fights all the time and just dealing with people. So then I quit that. But that was having the part-time job, having trading and uni was when I first came into money.
Were you doing all these things at the same time?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Bro, I remember, sorry to interrupt, but I think this was really cool. It was cool for me because I look back on it, and the work ethic of my team, I pushed them, is I literally did a 3-day, like, no sleep. I went to uni at 6 for my lectures because I had to drive. Did my lectures till 12, and then from 12 I had to do my part-time job at the warehouse at Teen. I remember that, so which was until 4. Then I went to the gym until 6. Then I did my dissertation again. Then I did my overnight clubbing event until the next day. Then I had to go back into uni again. Then I had another part-time job to do, and then obviously trying to trade alongside of that. I remember that on a Tuesday, and then come back, went gym, and then slept.
So how long was you doing that routine for?
Like probably a mixture of 3 years, 2-3 years. Yeah.
You must have been shattered. But then again, I suppose at the same time you get used to it.
Yeah, and also like I had insomnia, so I couldn't sleep anyway. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't sleep because of, I don't know if it was maybe trauma or whatever it is, because you know Riz, right? Me and Riz obviously share the very same experience, which is, man, the first time I ever met him was in the podcast, and we literally shared like the single mum story, some other stuff which I can't really say, which is why a podcast didn't get out, but we basically aligned in a lot of things, and we had a lot of those pains. And it's like, when you truly have that pain, you can't sleep, because even when you sleep and you wake up at 3, it's the first thing you think of. And it's crazy. It really, really is kind of crazy. Now it's there, but it's different of like, and this is the thing, I think all of these mental health and all of this kind of stuff nowadays, and that's why it's a struggle, it's always been there. But I think the problem is, it's accepting them as opposed to trying to fix them. You don't fix shit. Like, I got anxiety. That's always going to be there. Bruv, like, if everything comes at you once, you're going to get anxious. Do you know what I mean? You can't get rid of anxiety. Yeah. You can't get rid of depression. You can't get rid of sadness. You can't get rid of happiness. It's life. That's what God gave you, these emotions. You know, you can't have a rainy day without sun. You can't have all of this stuff, happy without sad. There's ups and downs. That's why the life goes like this. If it's flatline, you're dead. So the point on the matter of fact is, you just have to be able to accept them and deal with them. And it's crazy, because then that goes in the whole idea of why the fuck is this not taught in school. But
do you think, you're quite a masculine man, you know, you go to gym, you're in good shape, you're making money. Do you think that the whole aspect of, you know, dealing with these problems or issues or mental health and all that sort of stuff isn't spoken about enough? And do you think also there are men who you may see in the gym, like that manly man, who think, nah, you can't be speaking about that. That's not a man's thing. And what's your perspective on it?
I don't know. I think I come across very maybe masculine to some degree, but I'm very open. I think that there are some things I agree on, some things I don't. But that's just everyone. I mean, it's just human. You're supposed to like some things, but I don't really think that it needs to be spoken on too much, but it definitely needs to be taught how to dealt with. I think there should be more of a class in order to how you understand those emotions, because I don't believe in talking about, like, it's like, okay, let's just say I'm depressed, right? I'm personally right now, I'm going through quite a lot of stuff, and it doesn't make sense for me to open up about it, because why? Like, you just met me. It's like, how are you? Like, there's plenty of times I can say for a fact that you're not alright, but you say I'm alright, right? But why do you do that? But the matter of fact is, when you say I'm not alright, guess what happens? You start breaking down, right? It's simple. If I went the other way, it's exactly the same thing. So it's the same thing. It's like, we can deep it, because I think it's I'm very transparent. I'm very open book. Like, even this morning, I see my son and I just broke down in tears. Like, we just, a lot of things happening right now. I woke up in tears, saw my son, and then cried again. But it's not the fact that I'm trying to say, oh, I'm like a man, let's hide with these problems. It's not that. And it's not that I don't want to talk about it either. But it's, let me handle the situation. Let me try and handle my emotions. Let me try and handle myself. Let me try and see because the thing is, we need to solve the problem at hand. Even if there's not a solution to it, what's the best way we can deal with this? And there's like Norman Vincent Peale, the power of positive thinking. Like, whatever happens in this situation, it's like, bro, you're a dick. I call you a dick. You laugh, right? But you chose that because we're on a friendly terms, but you can choose whatever emotion you decide to go, ultimately, right? So therefore, that is more important and imperative to understand how you move and the quality of yourself. So, for example, like Tony Robbins, who I learned a lot from, and I owe a lot to him in my life, is the quality of your state is the quality of your life. So if you can control the quality of all of that, that manages and manifests and ultimately creates the life that you become. So it's a long-winded answer of, do men speak about the mental health and things like that? You should talk about it if there's a problem. But it's more, I think, that how do I deal with it, as opposed to let's sit here and fucking cry about it and make you even more depressed. Yeah. Because I think that's more the route that it goes down. For example, like PTSD from army men, right? Bruv, you just watched a man, like your brother getting his leg blown off, all of this kind of shit. That's never going to leave. Like, sitting there talking about it, how does that make you feel? Bruv, fucking, why are you asking these dumb questions? It's obviously going to feel shit. You just saw a bruv man's leg just get blown. Did you get where I'm coming from? Saying, yeah. Because I feel like that's the consensus. Like, yeah, there's a helpline, call us. Bruv, what the fuck is, like, if I call a random guy on the phone, I don't know him, I don't fucking deal with him. I need to have that conversation with God and understand that, how can I overcome this? How can I manage this emotion? If it comes through with me, how can I deal with it? How can I deep it? How can I grow from this? How can I manage this? How can I accept this? And what is it doing to me, and what can I learn from this, and how can I, ultimately be the next version of myself? That's more important than let's talk about mental health. Let's all be fucking faggots together and let's all cry. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's the consensus of what they want, right? They want you to be fucking losers and little bitches, and like, bro, you have problems, we all have problems. That's cool, but
deal with it.
Yeah, that's it. And the thing is, man up is a phrase that's not used enough nowadays. Before, it was used up too much.
Did you know? So this is actually so funny. You just reminded me just from saying the word man up. So my sister, she used to work at a certain workplace, which I'm not going to mention purely because I'm about to say it. The term man up is now banned in that workplace, and it has been purely because it's for everything you're just saying right now. And I thought that term man up is banned in workplaces. It's crazy.
But bro, it's like nowadays they're just softening it too much.
Yeah.
And then that's what happens. You create weak men from that. Because let's just say, okay, cool. Like, Dan, calm down. Shut the fuck up. Let's talk about these problems. Let's do all these things. Okay, cool. Let's do all these things. But what does that accomplish? Okay, let's just say it. Like, okay, cool. We've got the person. He's really struggling. He's really depressed. He's going to talk about his depression. Now he's even more depressed because he's talked about it. Now what?
Don't know.
Right, and then, but if I said to a man up, like, bruv, like, I'm depressed too, shut the fuck up. Like, but the thing is, we've got to do what we got to do. It is, obviously, it's a shit emotion, but you need to understand why you're depressed, right? And then you think about, okay, what makes you happy? Why don't we focus on what makes you happy instead of what makes you depressed? You can focus on one or the other, right? On the latter, which one do you want to focus on? The problem or the solution?
Solution.
Exactly. So, well, if you go to the gym, guess what? If you go to the gym and then it releases the endorphins, makes you feel better, then do that. Cool. If gym's not for you, maybe play paddle. Right? Fucking rich boy. You know what I mean?
I'm going to do golf soon. I'm going to get the white glove out.
Yeah, we love golf. Yeah. So, yeah, but if you want to play golf, then do that. Like, it's one of those things. It's like, I know a lot of people in the finance space as well, and finance people, and they all have their release buttons, right? You just go with your boys. Even every level has that, right? You go with your boys on holiday to have that release, not with family or anything, just your boys. That is mental health.
Yeah,
not this. Oh, let's hold hands and in a circle and tell me.
Well, this goes back to the exact same thing, because what I was talking about with the thing I'm setting up.
Oh yeah.
I can't speak about it too much on camera, but I mean, this is why I wanted to set up the higher tier one.
Yeah.
Because of this reason, where it's not necessarily we're talking about stuff.
It's just like-minded and energy.
Like-minded energy coming together, so we can evolve together, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? So it comes back to what you're saying right there. We're digressing slightly. I'm going to come back to this shortly in a second.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, in the whole time where you're doing these things and you got that whole shift on rotation for 2 years straight, I want to know how that impacted your financial situation.
I think the first thing, and I think this is what I always wanted to work for, is to be able to eat without looking at the bill.
Okay.
That was it.
Where did you go?
We went eat, like, for example, Goodman's. My wife was working as well. She was making buck then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she used to take us out. So we used to eat food together.
All of this, was you married at the time?
No, we were, let me think. So she was in...
Well, not married, but I mean like together.
She was in the 3rd year of that bit. So she came in on my 3rd year of trying that lifestyle or doing that lifestyle, or the 2nd or 3rd, she was just in there for the first. But I knew her before. I've known her for like 13 or 14 years or whatever. We've been together a decade now.
Yeah.
And she was with the 2nd or 3rd part of that. And then from there, it just ended up growing and growing. I ended up getting jobs, stacking, moving, growing, first property, made a buck on that, moved on, and things like that.
Sick. So then, had that impact your financial situation? Did you accumulate some sort of wealth, or did you have in your head, I'm rich now? Or
never. I still don't. Like, I hate the term millionaire even still, like, now, but it's just Kimmel, if you know him, he was like, just content in it. But
I'm putting it in the title, mate.
It's like, millionaire. But like, even though we are, it's like, this is the problem as well. Actually, I think this is a great topic. It's like $1 million is not really a lot. The only reason why you think $1 million is a lot is because you think about how to spend it. It's like, bro, $1 million's a lot to spend. I will sit with you on that. But $1 million is not, or £1 million is not a lot.
No, it's not. No, especially in London,
bro. Like, there's one house, and then even if you get that, there's renting out about 4 or 5k. Then you got 50k a year. How can you live on 50k a year? Right, where are you gonna live? Right, what are you gonna do with that? The expenditure, going on holidays, like family, like nursery's costing me like $4,000 a month.
Really,
bro? It's like 1.8 for one, and then the second one's going in. That's like 4. I told my wife that this makes no sense.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Do you know what I mean? So the point of that is, I never ever say I'm rich because of money. I say I'm rich because of the choices I can make. I think that's more important. I have more of the power to say fuck you to whoever. I don't have to work with anyone. I don't have to do anything. I can do whatever the fuck I want. That is the most important thing, because the restrictions of work,
freedom.
That's it, bro. Like, that's true freedom. Like, so what if you got 20 million? You know what I mean? But you can't speak.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can't say what I truly think. That's not like, why would I want to, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would I want 20 million?
Yeah.
Is because I'm free. I can eat what I want. I can do what I want. It's the definition of freedom, as Tony Robbins says, doing what you want, when you want, how you want, with who you want, and how, like literally,
I literally ask myself this all the time nowadays as well, is, how much money do I want to make? How much money do I want to accumulate? And I always come back to the main thing of, as long as I can please and serve God, first and foremost, that's, alhamdulillah, that's great.
Alhamdulillah.
Secondly, as long as I can have the freedom. So right now, I'm somewhat free in the sense that I can do what I want, when I want, how I want, who I want to do stuff with. The third thing is, I'm not married at the moment. So I can't talk on my behalf of, if I can still do that whilst being married and have kids. And I think it's coming to that stage of, okay, I can only discover how much money I want to make and how much more I need when it gets to that stage. But right now, I can say I'm not a millionaire yet, but I kind of feel like it, because I'm still financially free to do all these sort of things. Do you know what I mean?
But I don't. A millionaire means nothing, because this also goes back into the you versus you, me versus me. It's just like you said, bro. Like, you got a roof over your head, you got a nice car, it doesn't really matter if you got a fucking SF90 and SVJ. Like, all of these things are materialistic things.
Exactly.
But what do you want?
Yeah.
But your number is different from my number. So there's a book by Dan Locke called "Fuck You Money," and it's a great book, because maybe I can share with you, and if you want to do this backwards, you can. Is if you first find out how much you actually need to spend, fuck you money. Like, legit, like, private, like what do you want? Like, for example, I don't want to fly private because I think that is secluded, it's depressing. I like the idea of an airport.
Yeah, same.
It's quite nice. Like,
I like the idea of meeting like-minded people in business class or first class,
and
getting
the
that
lounge is
experience,
fun.
getting treated like you know you're the man.
It's fun. Like, do you know, I don't want to speed in and out. It's fun. It's a journey, and I used to sit in economy, so let me enjoy my business phase. So that is fun. So what is it that is your fucking like food? Right? There's only so many steaks you can have, and also if you had steak or like Goodman's or Gold or whatever sushi, shishima, omakase, whatever you want, or Michelin star, there's only so much of it you can have. How much does that cost? You're living in the biggest house you could live in, because there is too big, right? Like, bro, there is
one house I saw on YouTube called The One in I think it's in LA.
Yeah.
That house is massive.
Bro, and that's scary. Imagine cleaning that as well.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. The maintenance of that,
it's a long day.
Crazy.
And you lose the home value.
Yeah.
And like that home feeling.
Yeah, it's not the home feeling.
It's not home. It's just
a place that you can flex with.
Yeah, just
I live here.
Yeah, it's just dick energy. So the point is, with all of that, you'll be surprised at that number. There's not as much as you think. So for me, it's 650k. But for 650k to have, it sounds like a lot of money, maybe to some, maybe not to a lot.
What is it, like 650k per year?
Yeah, per year. Okay. So then if you break that down, that's actually 5% of 12 million. So if I have 12 million locked away, I'm making 5%, then I'm Gucci. Right, so then that's how you really, and then that's making residual. Then I'm actually living fuck you money and fuck you lifestyle without doing anything. So that's kind of crazy how your life can change if you have that concept. So that's why I'm saying to you, if you want to consider reading that book or doing that, is you find out what your fucking money is, work backwards, and then you know you're literally free for life because you have 1 million, 2 million, whatever it is, put away, making that 5% for you, living completely for free.
Makes sense.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? So you are free. Like, you don't have to be a millionaire for free, because I think one of the biggest things in trading as well is like, bro, 2k is a lot. Like I know people making 100k days, even recently, like I'm owed over 70k in prop firms, and yeah, it's life-changing money. But if you don't live a lot, you're happy at home, maybe even single, or even if you live in a country where that 2k can take you further, I think more than enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think going back to it, I think that's the reason why I can be financially free now, because I don't do a lot with my money in terms of, I don't splash out, I don't buy designer, I don't go out much to eat, all that sort of stuff. I live a very, very basic and simple life.
But to a point where people, right?
I'm very, very happy with it. I'm very, very content. I love it, to be fair. But I think a lot of people on the outside looking in will be like, well, you live such a boring life. I personally love it, but maybe that's why my financials can last a lot longer than anything else. You mentioned trading there. Let's get into this now, because after making this money, and you know, trying your first bits of money, experiencing it, where was it and how was it that you got into trading, and why did you get into trading in the first place? Why did you pick trading to be your career choice at that time? And
I got into trading because I read on a newspaper at 5 a.m, a guy spent 25k in a night out in Mayfair. And I used to run these Mayfair classes, and I was like, that's not unheard of. Like maybe 5k, but I've never personally firsthand seen someone spend 25 bags. And I was like, bro, that's more than my salary. I was on 14k on the project engineer for that year, and I was like, money makes money. So that's the financial industry, right? So finance. So from there, I actually wanted to get into investment banking. So I did a lot of like Morgan Stanley, all of those, and like all of those tests and things like that.
What did you study in uni?
Ironically, I got a master's in mechanical engineering and got offered a PhD to continue my studies on that as well. But I got the master's hat just for my mum.
And you didn't do that?
Bro, the PhD, so at that time when they offered the PhD, remember I was saying I was working. So I did all of those things, and PhD were offering me like 800 quid a month and an accommodation and fuck all. And don't forget, I could make that doing any of the other stuff. Whatever. So as much as it's great to give solar energy to the world, and look at, because I was studying organic solar cells, and we built a solar power hectocopter. It was pretty fucking cool actually, because they could use it for the army and like care packages, blah 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 blah. But there's no money in it. It was like, what's that going to serve me? How's that going to feed my life? How's that going to feed my family and stuff like that? And I was already working in finance at that time as well. So I came into trading because that guy spent 25k. So I thought, first, finance. Then second, I was like, okay, I worked in a broker. So in a brokerage I worked in an FX broker, and then worked my way to senior. I worked in the rest of the world team and then China team. Oh, you're gonna sneeze.
No. Sometimes I need to take a deep breath for whatever reason. I don't know.
That's cool. It's cool. It's cool. So worked in the rest of the world team, and then China team. And China team were doing 2 million a day. Rest of the world was doing 1 million a day. And then this is how I got my first mentor as well, because he was actually my client. So I was watching his book and he was trading. He made 150 grand in a day, and then also on top of that, the Euro Swiss franc was basically a floor, and then the slippage of it dropped like 1,000 pips. I saw someone turn 15 grand into 2.5 million and withdraw 2.3 straight away the next day.
In the space of how long?
Bro, that was like, he hedged his positions for how many like weeks, but he made that within an evening of when it dropped. It just depegged, dropped 1,000 pips, and he made 2 point.
And he was your client?
He wasn't my client, he was my boss's client.
Okay, but you had seen that?
Bro, we were watching his account, and I was like, bro, I was 21. I was like, I've never seen that many zeros. I've heard of it on a calculator. I've seen it, you know what I mean? Maybe when you type boobies in the calculator, I was like, no. But the point is, I've never seen that as an actual financial number for someone to, maybe on like TV.
Yeah.
But it's different.
In a film, yeah. But
this is this guy, and then he's actually taking it out. Like he's going to a transfer. So I was like, oh shit, there's a whole nother level to this. Because when I first came in, I remember Opal, which she's really, really cool. She was the top of the game at that time. And she showed me her paycheck that month. I was like, bruv, she made like 25 or whatever bags she makes in 1 month. That was 1 month.
What was it, commission?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because FX brokering, so what we made was basically on per lot sizes. So for example, if you're trading, we make commissions on you just trading the volume.
Yeah,
that's actually true brokerages. Then you've got B-Book as well. So B-Book makes money on you losing the money, but they were an A-Book broker at that time, and they were making money on the volume. So we made money on the volume.
Just to go into it, backstory a little bit, how did you land this job?
Oh, bro, that's actually a great question. That interview was fucking ruthless. This was just before Wolf of Wall Street as well.
Did you need your degree to get into this job, basically?
I think it helped. Yeah. It helped me get through the door. But none of that fucking matters because it was my attitude.
Okay.
I went in there.
Chat to us.
Bro, it was a sick interview. That guy was a don. I remember him now. Like, I look at him and I was like, even now, I think that guy's a G. He was sitting there, it was just this fucking big ass fucking black dude just sitting there.
Interviewee, yeah?
Yeah, he was interviewing me. Bro, it's just, you know what I mean? Presence. And then there was a lovely looking lady there. And that's what the difference is. Like, you go and find everyone's well dressed. Everyone like really cares about their appearance and make the best of themselves. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you got, they're making the best. And he was sitting there, they're just dons. And I'm like, this fucking 21-year-old like suit, like best suit I could have. I even wore a 3-piece. Went in there and they just started grilling me with questions. Like, when you do investment banking interviews, they ask you very articulate questions. For example, there was an engine bay, you have to like explain all the engine bay parts and things like that. But this guy's like, why the fuck do you want to work with us? Like, bro, straight out the bat, I'm like, oh, because I want to make fucking money. So I was giving back what I received, thinking back on it. That's obviously sales 101. It's like giving the energy back to what he's perceiving out. And ultimately, I was trying to negotiate my salary there and then, which is the rookie mistake, but it worked as well. And then I was like, fine, I'll make it on commission, but you make it better sure you give me a good... I was just like proper... I was hungry because I wanted it. And I went in really wanting it. And he saw that. And then he was like, bro, you came in, weird ass interview, like laughy, goofy, whatever. But the fact is you're fucking hungry. So I like it. And then that was it. That was how I landed that job. And I was trying to get the Chinese side of it as well. But my Chinese proficiency at that time wasn't business level. It was only conversational level, family level. It was okay. It was not super good. And I failed that. But when I came in, they realized actually he can. It was just because he was nervous. That's how I got into the China team. Sick. So yeah, that's a good memory you gave me back on that interview because I feel like that guy now. Like just fucking sitting there. It's like, why the fuck do you want to work for me? Just get to the point.
So going back to, you saw Opal's paycheck. Yeah. In commission, it was about 25, 30 G's.
Yeah, bro. That's after tax.
And how did that make... That was after tax?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Bro, I was sitting there, I was like... But the thing is, she was so sick because I went there and I sat down with her. It was like 9 p.m. and I was like... At night, and I was sitting there, I was like... Wow, it's sick. I was like... I can't remember why she's showing me. I was just asking her to teach me how to make money. Mm-hmm. And then she just showed me and she goes, I can show you my paycheck. And I was like, really? She goes, yeah, sure. And I look at it and I'm like, fuck, bro. That's the salary of the month.
Just shocked.
Yeah. Fucking chilling. So yeah, that was how I got into it. And then I met my mentor, he taught me. Then I failed for 4 years of just going back and forth with the strategy, trying to refine it, over trading, doing all the things that most people trade and like struggle with. Then after that, I finally found consistency through the power of the compound and like power of consistency, which I read books to really change it. And that's when I started really accumulating it. I started basically had this 500 quid account. I said, I don't give a fuck. Like, this is the number one rule I always say in any interview. If you want to make money, is you have to respect a penny. And I didn't respect a penny. If you can respect money, that's when you'll make money. Because a penny from £999.99 with 1 penny difference turns it into 1k.
Yeah.
A penny is everything. And £1,000 is just 1,000 pennies accumulated, right? So you must understand and respect that money to therefore accumulate into millions or whatever it is may be, because you can't make 100 without making one.
Yeah, of course.
Simple.
Yeah.
Right. So when I was like, let me strip everything back, because of 4 years, bro, I've lost most of my savings, most of what money I've put in and things like that. I was like, let me just make £5 fucking pound, Dan. Like, you could do this. You've made 1,000, you made it, but you blew it all. You dumb shit. So just make right. I can't tell you the feeling of when you trade and you just see your account go down. You know you're doing wrong. You keep going and going, and it's just once you finish, and the silence, you just sit there and it's like, bro, that's $3,000. You're like, bro, that'll take me like 3 months or whatever time to save that up.
To make up, yeah.
And I just lost it. You just literally sweating from doing nothing. And I remember I was like, Dan, you're a fucking, like, I punched myself in the face. I was like, you're a retard. So I took a break. So then that's when I was like, bro, just make £5. Just don't lose it. Just make £5. And once I did that, it compounded. Then I started adding more money in. And then long and behold, after that, that's when my trading freedom kind of happened. And it's crazy to think that, because I always still come back to that route. Because even right now, where I'm doing 10K days, 20K days, if there's a problem, I'll go back just $100 to $200.
Really?
Yeah, but why not? Because, bro, $200 a day, if I can do that just for a month, that's $800, right? Bro, that's my everything. Like, something.
How many days a day, a week do you trade?
Whatever comes. Like, it's a funny question, because it's like, how long's a piece of string? If a market gives me every day, I'll trade every day. If it one day,
fair enough.
No, don't care.
So the difference I'm noticing between yourself and any other trader I've had on the podcast before is, I suppose it's all self-taught, but they are doing it outside of any sort of institution. They're just thinking, okay, cool, I've seen someone online do trading, let me try trading in my own time at home. Whereas you were actually working in a firm, in a company, and you were trading there.
Yeah. Okay. And then not just that as well. I think the accessibility, and obviously God, thank you to God, is I have a lot of friends who are in the space who are on the professional side. Yeah. So not just professional side, I get to learn from retail and professional. For example, Comey, bro, sick. You got to get him on here as well, because he's an underground G. Like, the guy's just in sweats, just chilling all the time, but he's got 25 million AUM and working towards 150.
Yeah, if you're watching this podcast right now, come on, mate.
We'll get him on, because not only that, he's just so mellow, so chill, and so under the radar. He will live like in Bali, just do like minimum spending, so chill. And what I love about him the most as well, and a shout out to him and his brother Isaac, is he started at 30 to traditional. He had credit cards. He was on a 30k salary, I believe he said, when I did the podcast with him. And then that's when his life changed. None of this, like, I was 18, faked it till I made it. Or anything. Like, he literally changed it. And not only that, he changed it through real trading, and then building a portfolio and a track record, 10 years audited track record, and then having investors. And he just lives under the radar. No content, no nothing, none of that.
It's under the radar ones. Sometimes the best way to live,
bro. So many of them. Like, like I said, I'm so grateful to know so many of these guys, and from them, like, you just get these nuggets from one of these guys, and then just keep pushing your trading further and further and further. Which is why I went into private equity in the first place, because OPM, other people's money. If I can make 5% on mine, I can make 5% on yours.
Yeah. So how did you enhance your trading then? So, making £5 and respecting money at the time gives you the core values and core principles you need, which still keep you today. Yeah. So how'd you go from that point to where you are now, multi-millionaire? Because there's a whole journey in between that we need to discuss there.
So I'd say what I first did was actually all came from property. So I only really probably was doing around 100 to 200, like, from trading alone, and then I kind of capped that until prop firms came in.
Was that yearly?
Yeah. Okay. And then, like, when prop firms came in, like, that definitely trajectory.
So this probably in the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, bro. Last year, this year, I definitely would have done over 500,000 if it weren't for all the companies that owe me money and all the shit that's happening. I was aiming for 1 million this year. Actually, would 100% happen, because I did 100k within 2 months, and then not only that, we would on the third month I was pushing for 100k month just from purely trading. So, like, anywhere between 100 to 250. But yeah, like 2.5 million funding, all of that shit just fucking gone. It's just
altogether in trading. How much would you say you've made so far?
I actually did the math. It's just under 800k. So yeah, it's pretty decent
in the all of the years.
Yeah, I reckon probably maybe a bit more with, like, other things accumulated, but only 800 I can see from some of the accounts. Yeah.
But that's actually a respectable figure. The reason why I say it's respectable is because if you had made a claim to say, 10 mil or something like that.
You can't, by the way, just saying that, like, as a real trader, like, you can't, just FYI, depending on how long you say, because there's a strategy cap of 2 million, depending on your liquidity providing. But that's why it's one of those things, is if you don't really know the institutional side, you can't actually do that.
But okay, so we're gonna get into this because this is really interesting. But the 800k, I like it because as I was gonna say is
because it's real. That's why.
It's because it's real. Because I could have another trader on here right now saying I've made 7 million, 10 million in the whole time I've done trading.
How?
I don't know how. I'm not the trader, but that's what they may say. And
I would love to invite someone to do a podcast with them because they only go on podcasts with people who don't know trading to ask them real trading questions.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, like Comey, right? If you put Comey in front of him, who's literally got 10 years audited, he will be asking questions how? Like, bruv, like, physically.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like,
so it's almost like having an auditor on the pod. I'm going to do that next time. I'm going to get a trader on and have an auditor here. That's going to be sick.
Next trader, you're fucked, bro.
Dan's fucked it for all of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, going back to the building blocks of it, essentially, you know, you said it started from property. What do you mean?
Yeah, so when we made that, my first property deal made me 60k.
Yeah.
So like literally in one deal. So that was like, I was like, oh shit.
What, just a straight buy and flip?
Yeah, so we bought a BMV. Not only did we buy a BMV, but so below market value.
Yeah.
First and foremost. Not only was it BMV, I held on to it. Then what was crazy is a money hack because the rent paid for the mortgage plus where I was living. And I lived below my means for a very long time.
Question, just to understand it more. Did you chuck all your trading money into this property?
Yeah, bro, I probably put in, I'd say 80% of money I had into that property.
And where did you buy the property? What area?
London.
Stepney Green. London. Okay, Stepney Green, fucking off.
Yeah. So yeah, it was quite good, and it was a good deal because, like I said, I was like, I need to do something with it because I'm just spending. There's only so much LV I could buy because LV was like my poison. Like I remember not being able to afford it. Still is right now. Just recently bought still so much stuff from LV and I just love it. And this is a brand that is meaningful to me because once upon a time I could never afford it. I love the design. I love everything about it. So that's what it was and I spent it. But I was like, well, there's only so much LV I can buy. I need to start doing something with this. It's just stupid now. And then I bought property. So then with that, we bought a BMV, made 60k, but the best part about that 60k is it's debt, so therefore it's tax free, so therefore you just refinance it as a further advance, so you actually have your first mortgage first, and then you pull out a further advance on that and you get that 60k. Hack again, you have 60k now, which is free, right? So whatever the money you put in, that could be the same money you got out, however much you want to go into. But that 60k, you can go and buy another property, you can either refurb that or you can do a BMV, whatever statue you do, and guess what, it just fucking goes and goes. And then if you have all of those together, say they net like, I don't know, £200, £500. This is the same thing of what I said earlier, £5, £5, £5, £200, £500, £6, like 1,000 to whatever, all of that paying like 3-4k a month.
Not bad. Accumulates, picks up.
And then you have that 3-4k, the richest man in Babylon, and you start using that to invest into maybe the S&P, and then that starts growing, and that's a portfolio of say like 100k plus, and then that starts paying you 10k a year plus all of those. You're literally living like 50k a year doing nothing. Then you have your job and your salary, and then you have trading. Things start to really add up. But this is why it's important to really understand and develop and break things down. It's not actually that hard if you think about it.
I'm not gonna lie, from everything you just said within the past 30 seconds, you kind of lost me because there was so much going on.
Okay, so what part did you lose? So with the property bit, right? Let's break this down because this will be good because I go a million miles an hour. Let's just say financial freedom. Let's just actually do an educational course 101. No trading, no nothing. So I made my money through trading, right? Let's just say this coincides. Is a great exercise to fuck you money how much you need to live. So just pull a number. How much per year on a low, let's just say on a low end, right? Because that's where most people need to start. On a low end, you need a low end. And when I say low is enough to pay for bills, enough to keep you afloat. Not spending, no lavish, just like necessities, you know what I mean? Like mortgage, or maybe like money to your parents, because if you live with your parents, and then maybe if you cover the bills, how much you pay for bills, and then how much you have for food, like food bills, but no like LV, no car, no none of that. How much would that be? Just a ballpark number.
Oh, without the cars, without any luxuries, anything like that, 50k.
50k a year. Yeah. Okay, so 50k a year. If you needed to make 50k a year, let's just call it 60 to make maths easy. That's 5k per month. Yeah. Okay, 5k per month. Now, if I can net profit on 5 properties, 1k per month, that's 5k per month. Net profit on all of those. Yeah. So that's the kind of goal I need to have. So when you have that broken down, let's go with that first, okay? And then we'll go on to the next things after. Is when I buy that first property, then I can't buy 5 now. right? Because I'm not asking you to buy 5 now. So my goal is first to get 1 property.
Of course, yeah. Get on the ladder.
Get on the ladder.
Yep.
Now, if I can get on the ladder by doing a BM, there's many ways you can do it, right? And this is just do your own education, whatever it is, because I don't want to spend 2 hours explaining it. But the main thing is, if you can buy a BMV, which is what I did, below market value, therefore what that means is I buy it for 400k, it's worth 460k, right? Which is already a 15%, whatever it may be, right? So then if I buy that there and then I take the money out, right, on debt, but the mortgage still covers that, I'm still netting 1k profit on the rental, which covers the mortgage and the further advance. I've got the 60k out. I can now buy another property and try and do the same thing. And then from there, let's just say I make 100k on that, right, instead, or 40, I don't know, I don't give a fuck.
Whatever the figure is.
Whatever. But you get my point. That makes me £400 a month in net profit, so 1.4k, plus I've got 100k because it's more capital than rental this time. Then I put that into 3rd and 4th and 5th, and okay, now I've got 5k. Well, that's the first pot, okay? That makes sense, yes? So then the next step to financial freedom is property is always up and down. So if the mortgages go up, then I'm fucked. So especially like interest rates right now, right? Then you're
when they went through the roof, people's mortgage rates were tripling.
Yeah, exactly that. So then therefore that 5k could drop down to maybe 3k in an inflationary market, right? Or whatever cycle we're in, okay? So then if that's 3k, then my 50k that I need, which is really important, or that 60k I need, has dropped significantly to 3k per month because of the inflation. So I need a hedge or another avenue potentially, or something
to
like
add up and make up for that lost money.
But not just that as well. Let's just say that 5k I'm making per month, I have a job. So I'm building this on the side, because that's the goal, to build this on the side, right? Because I'm not going to just give up
on everything.
And plus, bro, it's property, man. Like, what the
it's passive.
You don't need it 24/7 to do that. You pay the builder, he does it. You're not the chippy. You're not doing it unless you're fully refurbing it. That's done. That's selfish. Now you've got your job and plus the 5k per month. But the thing is, this is why I said I kept that cycle. You want to keep working, put that 5k per month into something else, right? So you still recycle this, plus you've got that 5k per month. So then imagine if you start dollar costing that 5k into, I don't know, investment fund, right? That investment fund is an S&P tracker, okay? It makes 10% a year. Within 1 year, because of that 5k, it would be 60k, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Over 2 years, it's 120k.
Yep.
And then if you compound that over a period of time, say like 10 years, it's 500,000 or whatever, but then you've got the 10% growth, that easily be over 1 million. Correct?
Yep.
So now you've made 1 million essentially with these 3, but that's not even compounding all of that. Do you see how big that can be though?
Yeah.
Do you get where I'm coming from?
All up
exactly.
Over the years.
But not even just that, you have your property. Now let's try and open the mind a bit more. You've got 5k that is free per month. That can go into 4k, like Richest Man in Babylon, which is the book. It teaches you how to diversify your money. So say you put 1k into the S&P, you give 1k into another fund, and then 3k into another property, or you're funding something, or a savings account. These 3 pots then now grow into another pots. So then you're not, the 5k is making you another whatever for life.
It's adding you money to diversify your portfolio even more.
Exactly that. So now you've got these properties that are worth X, Y, and Z. You've got the capital that's making every monthly capital. Not only that pot is building because it's going to be worth 60k at the end of the year, whatever it's doing. Then that's diversifying to other pots that are growing, whatever it is. It's just a game. Like, it really is an abundance. Does that make sense on how you like split that diversification?
Yeah.
Right.
I have a question for you then.
Yes.
Why did you decide to get your first property in the first place? What was it? Because you bought it for investment purposes, yeah? So why did you get a property? Why didn't you say to yourself, okay, cool, I'm going to put this money that I've got into the S&P, or I'm going to put it into crypto, or I'm going to put it into making a restaurant? Why was it that, okay, cool, I've got some money from trading right now, let's put it into property?
I think it's simple. Bricks and mortars is always going to be the case. People always need somewhere to live. Rental and real estate has always been around. It's consistent passive income. A business, and if you compare it to everything else, it's the most consistent. For example, a restaurant, it can go up and down. Like COVID, look at how many restaurants did well and shut down, like whatever it may be. The S&P, I'm already a trader. I'm already trying to outperform 10%. Okay, cool. If there's a book, Simon Sinek, Infinite and Finite, the goal is to do them all. It's like, bruv, like, why would I choose the red and blue pill? Let me just have both. You know what I mean? Like, just be in the middle and just have both. It's the same thing as what you're asking me. There's a restaurant. I want hopefully opening a restaurant in a few years' time. That's a goal too. But property is the one that made the most amount of sense. It made the most amount of risk adverse. It's the most consistent. It's been around the longest. It's bricks and mortars. It's over 10 years. It always has 100% gain in London as well, with that the Queen Elizabeth line before it even happened. That increases the value. So this just makes way more sense to go into property, and not just that as well. It's cash flow. people want money, but like money, dead money is nothing, because inflation, your money, like bread. I mean, bro, I know I'm a little bit older, but you must remember like chocolate back in the day was like 10, 20p.
Freddo, 5p.
Bro, you know,
What I'm
the
saying.
I wanted to say the Freddo, but I didn't want to show my age. But a Freddo, but now, bro, they're like a pound or some shit.
Yeah, I know. I saw it the other day, £1.20 for the same size thing. Actually, no, furthermore, it's smaller. I was like, wow.
Yeah, bro, if you think about that, that's nearly a 600% increase.
Yeah.
600%. But has salary increased that? Prime example, property again. Property, I remember, like, say our parents' age, they were like 200k or whatever it is, which is like 3 or 4 times the salary or whatever it was. Now they're like 10 to like $500,000, $1 million.
Yeah.
And people are still earning 25, 40k.
Yeah.
Where's the rise in that? Which is capital, money, modern slavery, whatever you want to call it, but it is what it is. It's the system. So ultimately, you have to learn to make money, then your money to make money for you, and that's important. But I hope that made sense.
No, it does make sense, to be fair. It makes perfect sense. You seem, not even just seem, from speaking to you, even from meeting you today, and just this conversation alone, however long it's been, I don't even know at this point, but you are very, very financial literate. It's clear to see that. You have a good financial education.
Appreciate that.
Where does that come from, and what do you do to enhance that knowledge?
Books, dickhead. Like,
it was coming to this.
Like, just to say, yeah, like, before you go, oh, you called Raheem a dickhead. This guy just gassed me up before. We had like a laughing break because of him. But it is because of books. There's a saying in Chinese called 书中只有王刚. And the ultimate point of that is, like, have you heard of Napoleon Hill, Think Rich, Grow Rich?
Yeah.
It's one of the best books ever. I mean, it's transcended over the years, right, in that writing and the way he describes how to make money. Now, ultimately, do you know much about how the process of Think Rich, Grow Rich is, or the principles, or
wasn't it that book about manifestation or something like that?
To some degree, yes, but it breaks it down into more actionable steps. For example, the secret is like manifest. It's like, okay, well then what? And I sit here, I want £1 million. All right, what do you fucking do? Like, I need an actionable plan. So that's the desire, but therefore that desire is backed by actionable plans. It's like I always say, a dream's a dream, but a dream with a plan becomes a goal.
Yep.
You take action on that,
and
like
that becomes reality.
Exactly, and that's how you make a dream become a reality. Now, essentially with that, in the book, 书中只有王刚, that saying is in the middle of the book, 书中, which is in the middle of the book, 有王刚, you find the golden house. Now, the golden house represents a desire. Whatever the desire that you are after, whatever the desire that you look for is in the book. Because education is key, right? So therefore, a prime example, which is why I think it's crazy and I have no sympathy, and I'm not literally zero fucking sympathy for people, is because I was in similar situations. Is that you, like Elon Musk, let's say, or even Will, like you said, right? I'm not gonna randomly be like, yo, Will, let's hook up, like, you know what I mean? Like, well, go on, like, let's chill out. Let me come to you and see you and do whatever. He's not gonna say yes. Like, who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
But I can buy his book.
Yeah.
And not only has that, he's put time, effort, and true emotion into creating that book, because all books are their legacy. So if it's their legacy, most people put their heart and soul into it.
Yeah, they write it for a long time. They put effort into it as well.
And it costs you 15 quid, and you can't part with 15 quid to go buy that book, or £50 for 100 books.
Yeah. £50 for 100 books. Shout out to that brother in Knightsbridge. But not 100%, bro. And that's why, do you know what? I was never really much of a big reader. I used to listen, and I still do listen to a lot of podcasts as well. I've cut out music. I think I've made that public on a few podcasts now as well, just to enhance my knowledge in podcasts and stuff. But Will's book, he gave it to me on the basis, when we were doing the podcast, he was like, look, read the book, and we can do the podcast, and hopefully you can have more knowledge and insight into what I actually do.
Agreed.
Was giving it a read, and I was like, this book is fucking sick. I was thinking, my man's knowledge is in here. For the book is meant to be retail for, I think, £15, obviously courtesy of CEOCAST. We got it for free, so that was even better.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, all this knowledge is in here, which is sick. Then I ordered another book, because reading his book, I said this to him as well, reading his book made me want to read more books and stuff like that. So I ordered The Money Ladder by Franklin Asante, which is an urban financer, the one I had on the podcast. Then I ordered Alex Hormozi's book, which is the one we were just discussing before. And then I ordered another book, which one of my friends recommended me, called Built to Sell. I actually haven't even started reading that yet, but I've got the book there. But all this to say is that, coming from someone who never used to read books and never used to pay attention to books and never wasn't even bothered to open a book in the first place, I'll be the first one to say I should have read a lot sooner, because the amount of knowledge, the way you can just level up your IQ and enhance your brain and your power just from reading is insane.
And it's one of those things. I'm dyslexic, so it's like it takes me even longer to read when I first started, but now I speed read like a motherfucker because it's repetition. But it's important because ultimately with this book, it's especially what those who are listening, especially if you're in London, right? Like London can be, especially if you don't come up for the best areas and things like that, it's hard to get out that environment. It's hard to push yourself, and it's hard to like, especially if like you want to do something. Like sometimes it's not like the man them don't want to. It may be like they can laugh at you. I get it. I've been there, but the closest you can get to any of these people is through a book.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like it's like, especially me, like I used to just dress like even looking back on myself, like it's incredibly silly, it looks stupid, but I'm young, like bro, it is what it is, and that was my life back then. I probably still look like a twat now, but the point is, if I look like that and tried to roll into, let's say, Ray Dalio, who is one of the biggest owners of Vanguard or whatever it may be, and asked him, yo, can I have 10 minutes just so you can teach me how to become a better version of myself? It's got like 99.9999% is he's going to tell me to fuck off unless I have the best pitch ever. But I can buy his book, and Ray Dalio's book is one of the best books like that can be for life principles and your growth. And same thing with Tony Robbins, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom. Same thing. That was it's like a massive book. It took me nearly 8 months to read that.
Damn.
But bro, it's true financial freedom. But like it's like, so whatever subject you suck at, you can read that book. That person who's got the specialized field in that book has that. So for example, like Hormozi, right? Like he's the king of social media leads and selling his businesses and how he's turned them all into 100 million, right?
Yeah. We
can buy his book. And even if we get one nugget, bro, it might not make us 100 million, but I know for a fact that's going to make me more than £15.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
That's the thing, exactly with Will's book, yeah. So obviously this whole CEO hub, I'll say the name of it, people can probably make an estimation or assumption of what it is. This whole thing came from the back of the idea of, from Will's book, which cost me in hindsight nothing. Retail,
but look
£15,
what it can make you.
But look what the mindset has done and the mindset shift. So that to say, throughout your whole journey of success so far, being your age right now, what is the biggest shift in mindset that's helped you elevate to another level? Almost like a key skill or key mindset trait that you've unlocked and you thought, this is going to take me far.
Oh, that's a really good question. If we can bounce that question back, because I'm a very specific person. When we say mindset, what would you specifically mean? Is that the sense of the resilience side of things, or would it be like a fuck you type of thing? Like, give me a bit more leeway so I can answer that in more specifics.
I like the resilience route, but I was thinking more so of a path you've kind of unlocked to think, okay, cool, this is how we're going to level up in terms of money. And also this is kind of how we're going to level up in terms of maybe status or whatever you're trying to achieve, really. Something that unlocks the pathway for you to get to your goal.
Well, let me answer it this way. And you tell me if this answers. If not, I'll try again. I think that it's not the mindset, but I think it's these two actionables that therefore lead to the mindset, which is maybe a step before, which is probably maybe even more important. And they kind of converse with something what we call pages, all right? So there's a book called The Artistic Way. I did this before The Artistic Way, but now it's called Pages because I read that book. And it's all about you writing things down. And bro, you just write until you can't write no more, and you keep writing. That action creates something that I cannot describe, and it's the pen and paper. And pen and paper is so important. I make my team do it all the time. Everyone has to do it. Like, it's non-negotiable. Shut the fuck up, phone off, do it. Mm-hmm. Reason being is because the muscle of writing is you first think the thoughts, therefore you send the muscles and the signals through your body into that and write that out, and you reread what you're writing from the pen, the ink that you can visually see, which is actually a very very deep process. If you think about it, something we take for granted. When you get to a blank point, that's when the creative mind comes through, and that's when you start going further and further and further. Now, when you can do that, plus the power of God, which is literally unstoppable, you can create anything you want. And that comes to the point of, you got a problem, let's write that all down. Let's get to it. Okay, cool. Then you just get blank. It's like, well, what am I going to do about it? Maybe some questions. I don't know. But by the time you finish that, what comes is clarity. And that clarity be able to help you understand the peace in your mind in order the next steps and the next moves you can make as an individual. So therefore, let's just say, give me a topic like business or something specific topic. Let's just say what you want to work on. Let's say actually CEO Hub. Let's work on that.
All right, cool. I was looking at home trying to figure out. Cool.
CEO Hub. All right, cool. So the thing is, it's like, this is how you would map it, right? So this is mentality. It's like going after the desire. What does CEO Hub mean to you? What do you want to achieve? why are you even doing it? Like, you don't need the fucking money. Like, you don't need to create this. You don't need to speak to these people. Well, fuck this. Like, but if you go through all of that process, you will get an answer that you never thought you would never even knew. Therefore, that creates a mindset and a clarity for you that's unwavering. And then that actually goes into the main answer, I guess, which is the unstoppable. And it's the Kobe mindset that I generally have and I love and I live by, is job's not finished. Like, I it's a personality thing, and I think that I'm just so fucking weird. It's like, job's not finished. I don't give a flying fuck about anything else. I don't care about the football. I don't care about life. I don't care about I don't care about anything, because job's not finished. This is the task at hand. This is what I need to fucking do. And if I haven't done it, I need to find a way to fucking do it, because there's a way. If someone else has done it, I know there's a way. I just haven't figured it out yet. It's like that guy chipping at the diamonds. Just keep fucking chipping, bitch. And then I'll get there. Do you know what I mean? So that is the actionable, to have that to help you not do the word insanity, which is ultimately doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And that is a very painful path. So therefore, if you can do this pages and this reflection, that path becomes a lot more easier for you to do. So I think that the unwavering mindset that you 100% can do it, that's the mentality of the click. I think that answers the question. But before that is the actionable of the pages and reflection, which is something that everyone could do, and it's fucking free and it's life changing.
Why did you decide to? Firstly, let me just say, you answered it, so you don't need to try again, so that's fine. But I was just going to say, you've mentioned team a few times in this podcast. Why did you decide to have a team, and what did they do exactly?
I think that, so I've always worked with partners, but now we have a team, and it's the most expensive thing we have.
But hands down, you may be able to agree with this, the most rewarding and thing that actually benefits you for long term.
That's it. It's the fulfillment and the rewarding. Like, I do a lot on above and beyond for them, and it's vice versa. And it goes back to what I said about the gun gig, I give and they give. And to be able to have them under us as an actual family and as a team is very, very important, rewarding, like you said. And it's another sense of purpose, which comes back to the start of the podcast of life and everything like that. I've been able to build something for me and a legacy for me. Now let's do it for my brothers and let's do it for my team, which is pretty fucking cool, because we get to create awesomeness, as Kanye West says in it. So we especially on our content game, we just want to create what we want to create. Like, that's it. Like, of course, there's things like the, cuts and editing and making them better, but that's also the same thing as improving and doing that. But yeah, the team is rewarding, like you said, man.
Look, everything we've said so far, Dan, it all comes down to this. Everything we want in our life, everything we want to achieve and, aspire to be, the man we want to become, it all starts up in here, right? And over the years, your mindset has changed massively from where it is now to where it once started. And I'm not going to ask you about trading psychology, because I'll leave that sort of podcast to Riz. Shout out Riz. But what I mainly want to ask you is, as the mindset's changed, if you could speak to Dan Cheung right now, maybe 15-year-old version of him, when he was just trying to discover life, was just trying to go through it, navigate it, get that testosterone out, figure out tasks to do, what would you say to him?
15. I love that question, because it's a question I ask people. And I want to be very thoughtful in the answer that I give, because it's a very important question, because the image, like I said to you at the start, is the message, and everything I leave behind is for God and my kids, my children. So essentially this will be a message for my kids when they watch. So I want to think of an answer that is very, very important. Would you say a lesson, or would you say a guidance or a message for that answer? What would I say? Just anything?
I'd say whatever you want to interpret it as.
Give me a moment. I want to properly, deeply think that, because it will be a message to deep. Okay, I'm gonna look at the camera.
Go on.
But essentially, Blake and Luna, I guess that's actually my kids who will be watching this, is that whatever you said or say you will become, you can actually become. That's the number one thing I want to tell you. The only difference is, Dad became who he wanted to become is because he didn't listen to anyone else, and he truly believed in himself. And if there's one thing I can help you expedite that journey, is that have faith in God. Because if you watch this and I'm not here, or whatever it may be, and this is why I love content as well, is because we can leave this legacy behind, is God has given you that path that you don't already know. It might not be the path that you imagine. It might not be the plan you imagine either, but the destination is always the same. That destination or that desire that you wish to achieve will always happen. Know that we will always love you. Know that God will always love you, and know that you should love yourself, because first you must love yourself before you can love others, because then you know yourself. So really and truly, the message to the younger me, to the younger everyone else who's watching, and to Blake and Luna, is whatever you want to become, with the goodwill and the good ethics and the right intent, you can become. Just have the whole heart to go after it with no stopping. Love you.
No, I love it. I love it. Do you know what? I've genuinely really enjoyed and loved this podcast, because prior to this, obviously, I knew who you were, and, you know, I've researched about you and everything. And, you know, naturally on quite a few trading podcasts, you know, you've done a podcast with Rokar, you've done a podcast with Riz.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, cool, we're going to have another trader on. But I can safely say, I think we've only spoken about 5% of this podcast has been about trading itself.
It's all business and
It's
life.
all business and life and mindset. And I think these are the key fundamentals every single person needs to kind of get started or level up from wherever they are right now. So I want to thank you very much for your time. And,
appreciate you.
You know, hopefully we can have you back on.
100%, my guy.
You know, when you've gone to that million, or when you've gone over the 2 million, or whatever the case may be. In fact, when that restaurant is open in Hong Kong, we'll do it in there or something like that.
Yeah, that'll be sick.
I'm due to do a trip to China because I've never done one before. I do want to go to Japan as well, check out the car scene out there.
Sick. I just came back.
I want to check out the car scene out there, buy a Nissan GTR, hopefully find a cheap one. And we'll get it cracking. But Dan, until then, where can people find you on your socials?
YouTube, Dan Cheung, Instagram and Twitter is Wannabe Champ. But yeah, appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you're doing as well, because I don't know if you get enough grace, but I think that an opportunity like this is amazing. It is because a lot of people can watch this, a lot of people can learn from this. And when I was young, I wish I had a platform like this I could watch. I think you know, YouTube never had this back then. It was just gym stuff and then
cat
it got
videos.
Oh yeah, bro. I remember spiraling so bad on YouTube spirals, innit? And you get down to them. So I think that what you're doing now is amazing, and the movement that you're creating is amazing. And I think that the true meaning, like, of course it's great, it's your life, your business stuff, but God's meaning and God's plan for this is amazing. So keep going, man.
I love, bro. Well, if you guys have got any sort of value at all from this, and you love the knowledge that Dan has dropped, make sure you A, follow him, and B, subscribe, because we've got a whole lot more content coming soon. And until then, I'll catch you lot on the next episode of CEOCAST. Peace. Lovely.
Sick, bro.
That's it.
Have you read that book, 7 Steps, The Habits?
You want to be completely honest with you?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, the answer is yes, but I reckon you've not read them.
I haven't read any of the books you see here.
Yeah.
I bought these on Facebook Marketplace for 50. Bro, listen to this one. Listen to this one. £50 for 100 books. Yeah, I loaded up my boot. I took my M4 to central London. Bought it off some French guy who lived in Knightsbridge. He must have thought these books mean a success to him, and here they are sat on my shelf, not doing anything, collecting dust. But I mean, people say these books are great. I just haven't read them.
This is gonna be the funniest podcast I've ever fucking done. Halfway through. Oh yeah, God in the deeper meaning of life, bro. I bought these books off a fucking market.
Literally, bro.
Oh, that's a good book.
Which one? I've got 100 here, bro. Exactly.
When I left at 50p a book. That book is like 20 quid. I got scammed.
Check out Facebook Market next time.
I'll tell you what, here's my gift to you, yeah? Any book you see here on the shelf that you're interested in, take it. Gift for gift.
Bro, I just said I didn't want a gift. Fuck your gift. Oh, shit.
Purpose of life. What is the purpose of life?
I don't know. I fucking ain't got a clue, mate. I say it serious, but I ain't got a fucking clue. I think that
these are the bloopers that you're only going to see in the Discord.